So I had this plan the whole time how I was going to give this speech for the play of the day, and I wasn't going to talk about this guy that much, but you led me into it too much, and you put it on a tee for me. So I oversold it a little bit already, but that's okay. But my play of the day for sure is Allen Lazard. Rodgers is known for going back to his veterans. He loves veterans. He did this with James Jones 15 years ago, 12 years ago, however long it was. He always goes back to veterans. His receiving room is short tonight. Allen Lazard is an absurd value at 2K. And on top of that, 35-1 first touchdown, 650 anytime touchdown, 6.5-1 odds anytime touchdown. DraftKings, hashtag DK partner. But plus 650 anytime touchdown is even better for Lazard.
Oh, yes. The big man coming in with a big winner. Mr. Lazard helping us out on Monday Night Football. Hopefully you guys hit that winner. I know I did for a nice little score. I know Big T hit a few winners on Monday Night Football. Big T, you're feeling good here. You're coming in. I didn't even realize, too, you mentioned James Jones in that whole spiel.
You like that pool?
I got to talk to you about Mr. James Jones in a sec, but I'll get to that in a sec. How you doing today on this Thursday afternoon, getting ready for Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas makes fun of my basketball guys. James Jones makes fun of my football guys. I know where you're going, but that's okay. Yeah, that was a good pull, and it's absurd. I still think it's absurd, though, not just because Lazard crushed. He was going to be the number 2 receiver with the guy that he's comfortable with. How was the odds that messed up? I don't. And the 35-1 didn't hit first touchdown, but he literally was wide open on the play they scored the touchdown, and he was on the field the whole drive. 35-1 is, it's insane. Hopefully we keep finding those. I'm not sure we'll have one as good tonight, but we'll keep giving those because we did hit it Sunday night. We hit it Monday night. Thursday night, I don't remember who scored first Thursday. I don't think I hit it Thursday. I can't remember. Baltimore,
I can't
maybe.
Remember either. It wasn't Worthy because I know I had Worthy.
He scored second because
he scored second.
First
Derrick Henry scored first. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry scored
didn't
first.
have Derrick Henry, so I'm two for 3 out of the gate. You're not going to hit them all though, obviously with those odds. Hopefully we got some good takes coming tonight though, and I like this game. 2 good teams. Sometimes we get terrible games on Thursdays. This is not one of those games. You got good position players, good spend ups, good values. This is what Showdown football is all about. Big prize pools. Super excited. And we got, I will say too, talking about bets, another teaser game to start your week with, baby. We lost last week. The Bengals let us down. We don't hide from our losses. We almost lost the college one too. So it was a little weaker, but we'll come right back this week and right back on the horse. And man, it's a great teaser spot right out of the gate.
All right. Well, we'll get to your teaser bets because I know you'll be posting them on Twitter at Big T44 DFS on Twitter. I'm, of course, at JSU Rab on Twitter. But before we get to your teasers in this game, which I'll give the NFL credit, these island games, the first 4 island, they've been awesome. Like I'll give them credit. They've had all good
really
teams
only
pretty
good
much.
games of the week. Honestly, there wasn't much good ones on Sunday.
They've been the best games, I think, so far. Like they've been the best games so far. So yeah, but before we get to that, I posted a tweet and I was for sure like Big T's gonna like my tweet and stuff like this. I posted a tweet defending your boy Joe Burrow against the Lamar Jackson slappies. I got no love from Big T. Uncle T came in and gave me some love.
I don't even want to argue with people like that. It's not worth my time.
So I ended up arguing for Bengals fans, and then people, of course, are like, "Well, you're a fan, so you don't count." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not from Cincinnati. I'm not from Baltimore. I'm from neither of your places. I don't care." My point was like, this is why Joe Burrow gets a pass and Lamar doesn't. And I laid it all out, Tony. And I said it like this: forget about the names. If I told you could have a quarterback that is 5-2 in the playoffs, he has 2 AFC championship appearances and 1 Super Bowl appearance.
You're not allowed to not count college either to add on to you're not allowed to not count that.
Fine.
You're not allowed to. You have to count that too.
College. Forget about it for a second. Those numbers, and he did this in 4 years, Tony. That means in 4 years, and he's been hurt in multiple years. But I didn't even throw that in there. In 4 years, he did that. Wouldn't you rather that as opposed to 7 years, 2 MVPs in 7 years, which is a regular season statistic, pretty much regular season stats is what that covers, and a 2-4 playoff record. So let me say that again. A 2-4 playoff record in 7 years of playing in the National Football League, as opposed to a 4-year with a 5-2 playoff record in a Super Bowl appearance. So a chance to win a Super Bowl over no chances to win a Super Bowl. Who would you take? And I had Baltimore fans. Oh, you're biased. I'm not biased to shit. Like, you're crazy. I know in a heartbeat you would give up those MVPs if you could have a chance at winning a Super Bowl. Wouldn't you rather have a chance at winning a Super Bowl with your quarterback as opposed to 2 MVPs? Because I know I would.
I mean, I don't even understand that's why I didn't argue, because it's not even an argument. Like,
no, it was an
argument. And I remember why I didn't get in there too, because you didn't even take it as far as you could have, though. Like, I know. Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl and lost, but then he lost to Kansas City in the conference championship in Kansas City. Okay, he lost in the conference championship.
And then he beat them.
Well, he beat them the year before, right? So he beat them to go to the Super Bowl, and then he lost in the conference championship. I think that was the order of it. But either way, and you didn't give him, he won a national championship in college, and Lamar sucked in college. Like, it's not even an argument. It's not even worth my time.
Hambone, that's exactly fact. Even when I'm on Big T's side, he won't even give me a like. Not even like a little like. I
literally started the last show on Monday stroking your cock. So, what are we talking about?
I'm not doing that to you, even with the Lazard call. I refuse. Yeah. All right. But you can do what you want. Just a little love, though. Just a little love would be nice.
5 minutes about how you nailed the slate and everything. What do you mean?
Nope. And on top of that, that he's getting a new shipment of Run Pure gear coming to his house, and he's not even going to send me any. He told me that he needed.
I'm not sending it soon. You keep saying I never send
seriously.
It. What are you wearing? Seriously. What's on you right now?
Yeah, Run Pure gear that Amber Niehaus sent me 2 years ago. Thank you, Amber Niehaus. It wasn't Big T who sent it to me. It was Amber. And I know because you were like, send Amber, text Amber. You could just text her, blah, 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 blah.
I
had to text Amber.
I wrote down your 900 pieces of gear you got. That was all me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then you forgot my address. This dude sent multiple things to my house.
Amber, the address part. I'll say that. That was Amber, that part.
I was like, what the hell? He's like, you couldn't tell me my address. And I'm like, yes, I could. I won't say it on air.
And then you said it wrong. You said I could tell you, and then you said it wrong.
I said the number wrong, but whatever. I was like 10 spots off. So I'm going to arrive at your 10 houses down and then walk to your house. I don't know. What do you want? He would have got you a gift. He would have brought you the gift, your neighbor, if I sent it to the wrong house. But that's here nor there. Let's get to the Thursday night football game. Unless you want to talk at all about what happened this past week, which I assume we'll save for Friday. But print factor will be Friday.
Fresh week. We'll give a little breakdown on honestly, the football kind of sucked week one. Not just because I lost either, because I did lose on Sunday, but I thought the game sucked. Even obviously, if I'd have won a lot, maybe I liked it more. But the games just weren't very good. I mean, so we'll talk more on the Print Factory tomorrow, though, about the week long. Because tonight, we got a good game. And like I said, 2 division teams. Buffalo's kind of owned Miami. I think they've beat them 4 or 5 straight times, I think. And Josh Allen has really got the best of this team. And Josh Allen's got the best of Thursday night football. So, I'm not a big trend guy a lot of the times. I usually make fun of them even. I saw some dude on Twitter earlier using a 1-year sample for – it was like everybody that's 0-1, if both teams are 0-1 coming in, then the underdog wins 38% of the time. I'm like, what? When teams come in 0-1? What kind of – I don't like that stuff. But I do tend to start looking at this more just because they're division rivals, and it's just been so I pulled the scores up because I was curious. So they won 21-14, 48-20, 34-31, 32-29 the last 4 games. And really, they've beat them, 9 of the last 10 they've beat them. I don't know if Josh Allen was all 10 of those or whatever, but Buffalo's beat them 9 out of 10 the last 4, and Josh Allen's 6-0 on Thursdays. So you got a lot of positive trends going in Buffalo's favor, which also benefits me because they're on the teaser side too, right? We're still sitting at 2.5, I believe. Yes, 2.5 still tonight. So not only do I get all the trends on my side, I get the guys I like on my side, and I get the teasers on my side. So things are kind of going my way here a little bit as far as the preparation for this game tonight, because I like Buffalo. Everything points to the right direction for me.
Yeah, you kind of started talking about some of the stuff like the records. Obviously, 1-6 Tua is against Buffalo. Interesting enough, Tua at home has a crazy at home record, 23-6 at home as opposed to 12-13 on the road. Just throwing that one out there.
Ass, by the way, too. Like, I'll just say that leading in.
I hate Tua. He's definitely one quarterback that I despise. I hate playing him.
He's literally Derek Carr in a better system.
He might float the ball even worse than Derek Carr.
He literally
which is crazy because no one should actually do that. Like Derek Carr floats it by far the most. And
yes, he is, Van. See you tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, 3:30 tomorrow. If you're looking for the Print Factory, we're not doing it on Wednesdays this year. We're going to be doing it on Fridays. So if you're looking for the week-long Print Factory show, that'll be 3:30 Eastern time on Friday. Me, Big T, and ODB. Hopefully ODB's back from whatever destination.
I forgot to tell you, he texted me Wednesday, and he's like, "We doing this or what?" I'm like, we moved it to Friday this year, and I thought he liked it though.
Perfect. All right, cool. So back to this game here. You talked about Josh Allen. I will say, I don't want to sound like I'm going to be on like Tua because I really hate him, but just looking at Buffalo and looking at Miami, there are things that I like about Tua in this matchup. And I kind of talked about it in my write-up over at Run Pure Sports. I'm on the 3-Max sheet. So if you're looking for my stuff, it's on the 3-Max Showdown sheet with K Falik and Mangone and myself. We'll be doing that all year for the main showdowns and the main slates if you're looking for my stuff. But I talked about how Buffalo last week, I wanted to attack the passing game with Arizona. The wind definitely played a little factor in how much down the field passing, in my opinion, there could have been with Kyler Murray. And I think Josh Allen too. I think that's why he didn't throw for more yards, or he only had 23 pass attempts. That's really low for Josh Allen. But they have 2 new safeties starting this year. That's one fact. They lost Teron Johnson to an injury. That's their nickel corner for this game here. He's out. Matt Milano, who's their best defensive player overall, he started the season. He's been out. He was out last week. He's going to be out again this week. He's out for the next couple of weeks. I think he's on IR. But I think Miami is the perfect team to face someone like Buffalo because they have the speed to test those safeties down the field and actually stretch the defense. And if they just play too deep back, all the underneath is going to be open for Tua all game. So that means short passes, screen plays, running backs are going to get absolutely peppered with targets. That's going to work literally all game. And if they don't do that, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle is going to have probably combined like 250 or 300 yards receiving and going to combine for like 3 touchdowns because they will kill them. Tua Tagovailoa last week had the most 20-plus yard passes of any quarterback. It was 6. That was the most of anyone in the NFL. I think there was 2 other quarterbacks that tied for him with 6. But that tells you right there, in good conditions, in Miami, later at night, as long as it's not like downpouring, which hopefully it doesn't, Tua is going to attack this defense, especially those new safeties that are starting, Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, down the field. And I think there's going to be big plays. And if not, Tony, I think that means the running backs are just racking up receptions, whether it's Achane or Jeff Wilson or whoever they have back there. I don't know, because we don't know about Achane, and that's another question mark. But it's going to be one or the other. So for me, I really like the passing attack of Miami tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you have this thing set up to where I can share my screen or no?
Yeah, you can share your screen here.
So I wanted to make a point about what you're saying on my sheet here. I like the screen share view anyways better just because we can throw some things. But so this is my player pool page on the site. And one thing I've started doing, if I just said that, if you want to see it on the site, it's on there below. Like my stuff's up here. Obviously, it's not filled out yet, but to start the day each time, I'm going to start running some sims early in the day just to see what I get based on my numbers. But I wanted to bring it up because you said it. The number one, like optimal for me was Tua in the captain, which I'm not saying I agree with. I don't love him as a captain play, and I think you kind of.
God, I hate it. Too. As you say it, I hate it.
And I don't like it either. And I think everyone's like that. But I will make one point though, is one of the reasons it hits in the Sims the way it does is he's down at like how we used to in the past years. And I know we just talked about Derek Carr. He's priced like Derek Carr. When these guys get down, he's 9,400. When these guys, he's priced like an absolute bum, like Derek Carr. And I use that because he won that one showdown slate for us last year because he was 8,800, I think he was. When they're that cheap and you got studs that you can get in there, it works a little better. And I think DK is kind of baiting people, knowing that no one likes to play like the captain quarterbacks that don't run. It's really hard for them to be optimal. But I thought it was interesting that this is the optimal right here. I didn't put all 6 spots, but this was what was the interesting part of the optimal right here because you got Tua with Tyreek and Wilson. You got Josh Allen. I mean, that is a great way to start a team. Even though I don't like to, I think this is more of a cash type build than winning the tournament.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring it up because the price, like if he was over 10K like he should be, there's no way I'm ever doing it. But he's just cheap enough where maybe you could talk me into him having a big game. It's even harder on these slates though, as we're talking about the quarterbacks. Because, man, Josh Allen's so good, and he's not, like, that much more expensive. He runs it in. He's going to always get a rushing touchdown, it feels like, at least one. Just so much upside. He's thrown for over 300 every time versus this team, I think the last 5 or 6 times. Just so much upside that it makes it even harder on Tua. I just wanted to throw it out there, though, that his price and the Sims like him a little bit. Another interesting thing, just looking at the Sims as we go down, we don't need to talk about D right now, but this Dolphins D like popped a crazy amount at 35% because of price, because of Josh Allen turning it over, because it gets you unique to get to the top of the leaderboards, all of those things. It's an interesting play because Josh Allen, even though I love Josh Allen, and on this Showdown show, how many times have we won with the quarterback captain against and then play the defense against it? Definitely in play for me tonight, this dog. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to distract us and get to the D yet, but just a bookmark for later.
Yeah, it's interesting that when I ran my just like dry runs too, I did get Tua. That was before I like did anything like taking guys out or anything like that. I did get a lot of Tua. I can't remember if my top team was Tua, but I did get a lot of him in the captain. And I understood why. The price tag, you said it, and in all the stuff that I'm saying, like that's just fat. Like Buffalo is going to get tested down the field. And I think they did a good job against Arizona. And I do think the weather helped them, but kind of like hide them a little bit against Arizona. And Kyler Murray didn't really let the ball go as much, even when they did drop back. But you got to remember, game script also played a big part in that, Tony, because what happened in the Arizona-Buffalo game early, Arizona got up 2 touchdowns, right? So Arizona got up 2 touchdowns. They were hammering the run early, so they didn't have to throw the ball down the field. What happens in this game if Josh Allen gets up 2 touchdowns? Like, what happens then? Then you're going to see even more down the field passing earlier in the game, which I think is something that could be a big chance that happens in this game. So I like Tua a lot. I don't know how much I'll have in the captain, but I think the passing attack is where I want to be when it comes to this game here. And that doesn't exclude the running backs, though, because like I said, I do see paths to where, someone like Achane, or if Achane's out, Jeff will, I could see them catching 6+ plus passes in a game like this. So I really like the passing yards over. That was one of the biggest bets I made today was Josh Allen and Tua's passing yards over. I think Josh Allen is like 243.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook, and Tua was like 266.5, might have moved, but somewhere around there. So if you want to look at those numbers, but I really like those overs. I hit the alts too, plus 275, plus 300. I think we see a lot more passing from Josh Allen, way more than 23 passing attempts, Tony, right? He had 23 passing attempts last game. I think we see way more than that in this spot here against Miami. So yeah, quarterbacks are in play. Let's talk about our top captains. We already hammered home the quarterback, so I don't think we need to talk too much about them. But Tyreek Hill's the most expensive guy on the board. And whether you think that's right or wrong, I mean, what is he, 1,000, 1,300, 1,200 more than Josh Allen, which is interesting. And then you got, James Cook, Jalen Waddle. Let's start in Devon Achane. Let's start in that range, Tony, and get your thoughts on those guys.
Yeah, the Tyreek Hill part of the slate is very interesting just because, I mean, everyone knows at this point he's just the man. He's so good. But crazy diving into it, he hasn't been that good versus this defense. So I'm trying to pull up his numbers real quick while I was talking, but I think his last 5 games against, here it is right here, against the last 5 games against the Bills, 7 for 69, 7 for 82-1, 3 for 58, 9, 69-1, and 2 for 33. So I would say the last 5 times versus this team, he hasn't got there fully. He did have a 782-1 and 969-1. Those are great games. I'm not saying he got shut down. I want people to be clear about that. I'm not saying he's going to get shut down. I'm just saying he's had some bad games against this defense. And so is Tua, honestly. His fantasy points against this team were 9, 17, 20, 13, and 15 the last 5. So he really hasn't had, he hasn't had above 20. And if you're, I like that dude there. Yeah.
I mean, that's just such a good comment. Love that. Tony, he better get some new gear.
Yeah. We can get him some new gear. So that kind of re-establishes your point too about Tua. His best game of 5 is 20. And honestly, the other 4 games, he probably wouldn't even be in the winner. So it is interesting there. But to have Josh Allen cheaper than Tyreek is tough for me just because I don't think I can play Tyreek. Granted, I like Buffalo too, so that makes me lean more Josh Allen. And I don't know what to do with Tyreek. One of my strong stands of the night might be to fade him in the captain, not to fade him in the utility or the flex, but in the captain, just because I think for one, obviously he'll be very high owned because it's Tyreek Hill, but the matchups have been decent. And if you watched last week, the way the Arizona game went, they were making them dump it off underneath to Connor and different spots like that, taking away the receivers. I don't know. I'm going to be lower on Tyreek Hill. And what that means, it's not meaning I'm going to fade like we keep talking about. I'll have plenty. But if he's 60% owned, I want to have 30 or 40%. I want to be lower on that. And part of it is just how much I like this Buffalo side. But for me, at the top of these studs, I'll also have a tough time with Achane. He's short week, so I wanted to talk about this. I think he'll play. I'm pretty confident he'll play tonight, but it's going to leave a lot up to interpretation. So if we think he's going to be high owned, I want to be under on him. And if we think he's going to be low owned, I want to be over. The issue is his projection's still good. So, and one thing, people will say, they're going to limit him a little bit. What does that mean with him? He's already limited. He's only going to get 10 to 14 touches every game. He's just explosive. So right away in the top 3 guys, I just said I'm under on maybe the 2 most explosive players in the entire NFL. But this is Showdown, and I just think Josh Allen's a better play than both of them. So for me, I'm more on the Josh Allen. So say Josh Allen, say all 3 of these guys were somehow 20% captain. I want to be above 30% on Josh Allen and closer towards the bottom end of the captain. I don't even want to play Achane and captain.
Yeah, so I'm conflicted, and I want to start with what you just said about like it makes sense. Josh Allen is the clear like if you just look at the Buffalo side, he is the clear captain choice, right? Like Tyreek Hill is the number one captain choice on Miami, but they also have other guys. Josh Allen is like by far the best Buffalo captain at that price tag, like you said. He's just number one, right, Tony? There's where number two is way down, right? Like if you said
And
like
number 2 is a big gamble too, like whoever it is.
Correct. So that's the thing with Josh Allen. He's a way safer play. And I get why the field will probably be higher on him, right? Just at the price gap and the fact that he's the safest bet on Buffalo just in general. Whereas Miami, they've got a bunch of like Achane, Hill, Waddle, like those guys are all explosive. They can all pop off at any time. So I think it's like one side is a little harder to figure out, especially with the Achane injury and everything. And then one side is just way easier for most people to predict. But this is why I love Tyreek Hill captain. I think Tyreek Hill captain is a really, really good play in this spot. I talked about the defense is different when you lose, your 2 veteran safeties and you lose your best nickel corner. Like the defense is different. And I just think one way or another, Tyreek Hill or Waddle is going to smash. With Achane being injured, my stand on Achane is I don't care what they honestly say. Like CMC was in until he wasn't. Remember this, right? CMC was playing until he wasn't. Where did Mike McDaniels come from? It's the same fucking place, right, Tony? They do the same shit over there that they do in San Francisco. I wouldn't even be shocked if he dressed and stood on the sideline for literally like most of the game and played like 5 snaps. Like that wouldn't shock me at all. Like if they said he's good to go and then Jeff Wilson came in first play and was the guy for most of the plays. And then Achane came in, once every like 5-6 plays, 7 plays, got one snap, went to the sideline, something like that. That wouldn't shock me at all. So I'm way more apprehensive about playing Achane, especially in the captain. In the flex, I'll have a little bit in 150, but I'm going to be lower for sure on Achane. Unless they just come out and they're like, he's a full, like if they say like he's a full go or something like that, but if they're just like, he's active, he's ready, I'm going to be way lower on the field. Which sucks too, because I think Achane fully healthy would smash in this spot. Yeah. Like this would be smash city for Achane because he'd get, I'm serious, he'd get like 10, 12 dump offs, I think, in this matchup with the inexperience back there and the stuff. So I wish I could play him. I wish he would just be out, honestly, because then it makes it easier. It would
make it very easy if he was just out. I think it helps us, though. This is where it gets interesting, though, because I think it's secretly, even though we both annoyed having to deal with it, I think it helps us because we're like dialed into this stuff, paying attention all day. The casual people are going to have way more of a handful dealing with it than we will. And it's like the other night, it was a little tougher once you lose McCaffrey, and you got to scramble a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but that's good. Anytime we got to scramble. And the good thing about the NFL, you get inactives 90 minutes before, and then you get little news bursts maybe in between that and kickoff where you can make some adjustments. It's a big edge, I think, tonight with him because not only that, but we get another similar spot to the other day, which we were very adamant on. Like the way San Francisco runs offense, I just knew it was going to be Mason and not like everybody wanted to take flyers on these other guys. And I risk throwing it back out there again, but I feel the exact same way tonight. I see the chat all talking about it, and I know I'm jumping around, but it's not going to be freaking Jalen Wright. He was inactive last week, which you can argue why that was, whatever. He's fourth in the rotation, blah, blah, blah.
Short week. It was a short week. They had Achane inactive week 1 last year. Remember? Sure. It was the same thing.
They're just a team, though. Like, Jeff Wilson's a veteran. San Francisco liked him. Miami liked him. It's going to be freaking Jeff Wilson. Even if Achane's in, it's going to be Jeff Wilson on the pure rundowns. He's like a free square tonight. And I don't want to jump down to him, kind of like I talked to D, but I'm just saying, like, it's just an easy spot. Let everyone play Jalen Wright. I'm not saying I'm going to totally fade Jalen Wright. I'll have him a little bit, but I just don't see him getting like the heavy workload, especially on a short week when it's tough. Like, it's tough to game plan. It's tough to pass block, all the stuff he's going to have to do. I just don't see it. So I'm going back to the well.
It wouldn't shock me if Mike McDaniels knew game 1, Mostert. Game 2, short week, Mostert might just need a break. Like, honestly, I'm not even kidding you. This could have been planned. They knew they were playing on Thursday night. Raheem is old, right? They gave him a shitload of touches last year, right, Tony? They abused him last year pretty much, way more than we thought. And we're like, okay. They have Jeff Wilson, who, like you said, they trust, right? So they barely played Jeff that much. Raheem got hurt, right? But like, okay, Thursday, easy. We just sit Raheem. We trust Jeff. And then if Achan's in, Jalen Wright can play like 10% of the snaps, and it can be you know what I mean? Like, they try, as long as they have like 2 or 3 of their guys, I think they're fine with it. The only difference between them and San Francisco is San Francisco had Debo. And you said it perfectly in the chat. And this is one of the reasons why, if you're not a member at Run Pure Sports, you should be, because we can't be on every hour of the day waiting for news. Obviously, we did the show earlier and we gave some winners earlier. But when the Mason news came out, you were the first one in Discord who said, don't play anyone but Jordan Mason. Play Jordan Mason. Don't play Garindo. I even played a little Garindo, so I fell into that trap too. And he only played 2 snaps. Mason was the right call. He should have been played in every single lineup that was made, and you were on it instantly. And you warned people against anything else. So I'll give you credit for that, because that was a good call. And, you know, some people tried to be cute, including me, played a little Garindo, but you were on it with the Mason thing.
I think I even played a little bit in my 150. I'm not saying like you can't, just because like we were talking Monday, it could even be in scrub time that one of them scores or something. And they're so cheap. Like, if they were more expensive, I wouldn't do it. Like, I think you can play Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright together. I don't think that's the worst move ever. Like, they're so cheap. They can both get there. Jalen Wright could get there in 5 carries or something. So I'm not saying the full fade, but man, I think Jeff Wilson is infinitely a better play than Jalen Wright. I'll say that much. Like, infinitely.
That's why I tried to not compare Wright to the Garindo play, because they're completely different plays. I think like Wright's definitely a better play if Achane's out, as opposed to when CMC got ruled out with Garindo. But I agree with you. Jeff Wilson.
I mean, if Achane's out, everything's different. Like, if Achane somehow was out, then that's a different story, because then I think, like you said, there was Debo in there. Then I think Jalen Wright is more of a threat just because he's more explosive and they need more of that. But Jeff Wilson with Achane is more like Mostert. It just fits better. It just slides in better. Jalen Wright's more like Achane than Mostert to me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so you're lower on Hill and the captain. You're higher on Allen. I like Waddle. He's the other guy I like. He'd be my next guy for sure after those two.
The interesting part about Waddle, and I'm glad you said this, is I said I didn't like Tyreek as much. Waddle's numbers, he's got 2 games over 100 versus Buffalo in that same sample where Tyreek didn't have any. And Waddle's just always going to be the forgotten guy because of how good Tyreek is. So I think Waddle might be one of the best captain plays on the board.
I agree with you. He's my favorite play. Like, he's my favorite play overall. I think he's like the best tournament captain. Like, he's I mean, obviously, and you know, anything can happen, but he's got big play. He can rack up catches. He can do it all. And if they focus everything on Tyreek, like I said, one of these guys is going to be, I think at the end of the day, one of those receivers is the captain winner. So that's kind of, I'm going to be shoving in on those receivers pretty much is going to be my main take in the captain. So I like your take there. The next range though, Tony, and we didn't bring up James Cook, so I'll throw him in here with all the Buffalo guys, but you got, you know, James Cook's 9K. You've got Dalton Kincaid at 7,200, Khalil Shakir at 6,200. Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel at 58 and 5,400. Let's stop it right there. So pretty much the main, offensive weapons for Josh Allen. What are you doing with these guys? Are you playing any of them in the captain? Who are you going with here?
I like these guys. I like this range a ton. Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, they ran a ton around. I know the production wasn't necessarily there. I mean, Dalton Kincaid only got 1 target. Keon Coleman only 5 targets. They didn't pass a ton, even though they were losing. So I think that gives us a gift tonight. I think it's a lot clearer than anyone realizes in Buffalo, because a lot of people are going to think everyone bases too much on one freaking week, and I just don't see it. I think it's a lot more clear cut, where Dalton Kincaid is definitely the number one option, even though he's not like a Kelsey or like these number one guys that are just going to get peppered. I don't think it's like that, but I think he's going to have games where he crushes. And it's just so clear cut for me that Keon Coleman is like their number one receiver. 45 snaps, 27 routes run. I mean, Shakir was a disappointment. Curtis Samuel was basically not on the field. And a short week with the turf toe, Curtis Samuel. I don't really think you can go to him. So I think it's like clear cut to me. Kincaid and Keon Coleman are like incredible plays. And if I was playing Josh Allen captain, which I will be a bunch, I love playing both of these guys with him, because no one wants to double stack Allen when they know he runs so much. But I actually think in a game like this, where you could see a higher scoring game, what if it's like last week and he runs 2 in and throws 2, and one of them goes to Coleman and one of them goes to Kincaid? There's your winning team right there, because you got the double stack. No one's going to double stack Josh Allen with these unknown pieces when you have other guys that you can play. So I actually love this range. I feel great about Kincaid, and I feel great about Keon Coleman. But what makes it even more, I don't love Mac Hollins, even though he's a touchdown threat. Shakir, like I said, I don't mind Shakir. I know you were high on him last week. I just don't, for whatever reason, Buffalo just doesn't seem to like him as much as I think they should. And I don't know. For me, these pass catchers, though, are clear cut. Coleman and Kincaid for me. And James Cook, though, just to polish up that range, I think he's a good play. I'm not going to play him in the captain. He's more of a filler play to me, where I'm definitely okay. And I think he's got good upside in this spot to do some damage in that, because they're not going to play a lot at running back this year. I think he could get maybe even all the work. I know some people like Ray Davis and stuff. I like his talent, but I don't think Ray Davis is going to, on a short week, I don't think he's coming in and like going crazy. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going crazy. Could he get a few more touches on a short week? Absolutely, he could. Even planned touches, like I kind of said before, like could it have been Ty Johnson week 1, but then Ty Johnson got hurt because Ray Davis wasn't going to play at all, and then Ty Johnson got hurt, and that's why he got the few touches that he did in snaps, was for that reason. Maybe it was Ray's on Thursday, you know what I mean? And then, Ty got hurt, so Ray came in for a little bit. But I agree with you. He's not going to get like some big workload. For the receivers, I'm with you on Keon Coleman. I like him. I think him and Shakir are my 2 favorite. I would have Kincaid third. Not the amount of snaps that I'd want overall for Shakir, last week. But again, like I said, I think they came in with a different game plan in general against Arizona. I think they thought they were going to be able to just like pound the football and not have to throw. I mean, the throwing attempts are what they are. Josh Allen only had 23 pass attempts. So that tells you right there, that's not a game set up for someone like Khalil Shakir. In a game where I think they are going to have to throw the ball more, and he throws 30 plus passing attempts, I could see Khalil Shakir getting more snaps overall. And, he got Greg Dortch was open a lot in the slot last week. Khalil Shakir is their guy in the slot. He played like 81% of his snaps were from the slot. I just think overall, he's going to end up being a guy that's hit or miss, but when he hits, he could have big games. But Keon Coleman's definitely like the big play, when they get even down in the goal line situations, he's not coming out, which is nice with Keon Coleman. Like Khalil Shakir, when they get inside the 5, probably won't be in the game. Keon Coleman will be in the game. That's what kind of sucks about Khalil Shakir. As they get a little closer and closer to the goal line, he played, I think it was, 2 snaps inside the 10, no snaps inside the 5. He played 10 of 17 inside the 20. But so that tells you, like, the more they get closer, I think the more it's Keon, it's Josh Allen with his legs, it's the 2 tight ends. So that kind of sucks with Shakir, but I think the overall upside is fine. So I'd go Keon, Shakir, and then Kincaid 1, 2, 3. Mac Hollins is just cheap. We're skipping around with Mac Hollins, but he's cheap. I don't love him, but he's going to play in 2 wide receiver sets with Keon. So because the other guy they have is MVS.
Like, he's dirt cheap too. Like, when I say I don't like Mac Hollins, I'm more talking just in general. Like in the build, like say I want to play Josh Allen with 2 pass catchers. If Mac Hollins is my second one in some of my teams, I'm fine with that. I'm not saying I'm not okay. He's 1,600 and he can catch touchdowns, obviously. So I want people to I like Mac Hollins better than, well, you're going to go down to this range anyway. So
yeah, I'll get down there. The Curtis Samuel plays the tough one because he is just
he's
way
the
too
easiest
expensive.
fade I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
he is just way too expensive.
He should be 1,600 with Mac Hollins.
Like, I mean, literally. So the guy played 30% of the snaps, and I think 30% of the passing snaps. Was
he played 17 snaps the whole freaking game. Like,
and 25% of the rushing snap. So he's just not as involved as I think people were hoping he would be, right, Tony? Just
I don't fade people anymore, like in Showdown, but I'm fading. He's literally like the worst possible play.
I think the problem with him too is he fights with Shakir for snaps, and they like Shakir more than Curtis Samuel.
Like, he has turf toe. He's coming off turf toe on top of it on a short week. He's literally, I know he's not going to be like crazy high owned, but he's literally like he'll be 10% or something. That's the easiest 10% owned fade I've ever seen in my life. Like, if he beats me, he beats me.
I'm with you there. James Cook, I won't play any in the captain. I forgot about talking about him, but I will play some in the flex. I'm not going to go crazy with James Cook, but I could see him getting, 13 to 16 fantasy points, like somewhere around there. Like, that wouldn't shock me. And maybe he's on the winner with that. Maybe he's not at that price tag, but just kind of depends on the scoring and everything. So he's not someone I'm probably going to be as crazy on, probably with the field or just under on James Cook. Let's go down to the next range here, which we got kickers. We got defenses, Tony. Ray Davis is in there a little bit at 3,600. Jonnu Smith, Dawson Knox, Jeff Wilson. Let's throw that whole range in there, like kickers, defenses, and then those kind of cheapies down there. What are you doing with them?
So we had another good call on the Monday show. Like I said, we stunk a little bit on Sunday, but I'll give us credit when we were on it. We were on those kickers on Monday, and then the dude scored 26 points or something crazy, the San Francisco guys. So they're field goal games, and these guys are good kickers too. Bass, Sanders, good kickers. These are the games where I like to project kickers a little higher too. I mean, we got 8 right here. We don't have the decimals, but somewhere in the 8s. For a projection. I might bump them up to about 9, just a little bump, nothing crazy, because I like both of these kickers. I don't love the Bills D. I just think the Bills D is pretty weak right now. They can't stop much. But the Dolphins D, just because Josh Allen loves to turn it over, I'm always going to play the opposing D against Josh Allen. So Dolphins at home, short week, definitely like the Dolphins D. Like I said, Ray Davis at 3,600. If I think Keon or Curtis Samuel's the worst play, I think Ray Davis is the second worst play. I mean, these guys aren't getting a lot of ownership, but man, there's no chance I'm playing Ray Davis at 36 freaking hundred. There's just no scenario that I'm doing that. Then you get down to the guys that you can actually play and guys you should take chances on. Honestly, this is the best range with all the studs because all these guys in this range, this next range, are guys that could win the slate for you. So Jonnu Smith has been a little weird where I feel like he should be more involved, but if
he didn't play.
That's what I was going to lead into. So for the flow chart people from last year, when I got to the end of the year, I'll never forget it. Like Miami's offense was awesome and they checked like every box, rushing, passing. Their tight end, though, they were like the worst in the league, according to my numbers. And again, this year, like they have 3 guys. I mean, Julian Hill played the most snaps. You got Smythe and you, or what do we call him? Smithy. And you got Jonnu, which I feel like Jonnu should fit this offense, but it just doesn't happen much. So I don't love the tight ends. Will I play some? Yeah, just because I'm playing 150 teams and I need to take stabs in here. But man, I mean, the better plays. I mean, Jeff Wilson's like the best play on the board for me, and he's 2,400. So I'm obviously going to have a ton of him. And then you got guys like Ty Johnson, Jalen Wright, Mac Hollins, even Braxton Berrios, who's the wide receiver 3 for Miami. All of these guys could win you the tournament tonight, in my opinion. So you're going to have to rank these guys. And we talk about this in NBA a lot, how you got to rank the ranges. I think you got to rank from Dolphins D down to the bottom, all the way down. And for me, it's clear-cut Jeff Wilson, number 1. After that, it's a little hairier. If Achane was somehow out, it would be Jalen Wright. But I think number 2, I'd have to go Dawson Knox, I guess. Actually, Dolphins D, I think, would be number 2 for me. So I'd go Jeff Wilson, Dolphins D, Dawson Knox. But I don't think it's that big of a gap between number 2 and like number 7 down here. All these guys at least have a chance. And I'm not going cheaper, though. I'm not playing Ingold or Chosen or any of those guys. So, I mean, Jeff Wilson's the best play down here. No doubt about it.
So a couple things. Where's this thing? Shakir over 2.5 yards in the first quarter. That I'll take that. I like that. I like that little bet. That's nice. Over 2.5 yards in the first quarter. Jonnu Smith is there to block. He is not, actually. That's one of the things that's hurting him is out of his 17 snaps, there was 65 totals. Out of 17 snaps offense that he had, he was in for 15 passing plays and 2 running plays, whereas Julian Hill was in for 21 of the 24 snapped rushing plays. So that just kind of tells you like he's not on the field all the time in passing situations. It was only 36%. And then the running plays, he's only in for like 8% of them. So I just don't get it. They're playing Smythe over him. Even on passing downs, he's getting more snaps, 21 to 15 in passing downs. And then he's not in for running. When he's in, though, Tony, he's lining up in the slot, which is interesting for Jonnu Smith. And the guy who would be covering him is out.
Well, that's why I said just because I don't love him doesn't mean I'm fading him at 2,800 because tight ends in Showdown always freaking win. So
yeah,
I mean, I am not fading Jonnu Smith. I'll say that.
This is how I feel about Jonnu Smith. You talked about some like bad plays. I think Jonnu Smith is a bad play on the surface, but he's a good Showdown play, if that makes sense.
And if I play one team, I'm never playing Jonnu Smith. I'll make that very clear. But I do want some of him. If
you're playing like 50 or more or something like that, I think getting some of Jonnu Smith is a good idea in Showdown because, you know, he doesn't have to do a ton to get there. It's just unfortunate. It doesn't seem like it's just a team that's going to be using him a lot. But like you said, if they try and take away Tyreek Hill in the downfield attack, like Trey McBride was open a lot. Kyler just struggled to see him. That's the truth. Like Trey McBride was open way more than he should have got way more looks, I think. But Kyler just, for whatever reason, missed him a few times, or like I said, struggled seeing him. So, you know, that's just the facts from last game. Maybe, you know, Tua will get these tight ends the ball a little bit more, but you know, I'm kind of with you for the bottom range. I'm not playing Alec Ingle for sure. Not Robbie Chosen or whatever he's calling himself now. Defenses, how owned is this Dolphins defense going to be? Because I know you like them, and I know you're saying
They
good
can't
play.
be owned. Like, people aren't playing defenses in this game.
They're 3K though. Like,
yeah, but people are not playing defenses in a Dolphins-Bills game. At most, they're going to be like 15% tops, and that's why the Sims like them so much. Like, because they're not going to be owned. I mean, there's no way they're above like 20%. There's just no
Maybe
way.
I can play like field at the Dolphins. I'm not playing the Bills D for 1K more, but I'll play maybe I can play some Dolphins D if they're going to be that cheap.
I like it honestly the best in the Josh Allen captain builds. Like, just because if you bink like the lucky turnover to the house and it gets them down and you get the perfect game script too, it fits perfect in those builds.
Yeah, you house a kickoff, you punt return, like you just something like that
can happen against Josh Allen.
Yep, 100%. And actually, the guy down here, if I pivoted off of, outside of the running backs, obviously, like the running backs, Mac Hollins, those are the clear best plays. Which we just got news, like Jalen Wright's going to be officially active, so we know that, and Achane's going to be active. Whatever that means. I don't know what that honestly means. That just means he's going to suit up. That doesn't mean he's going to, play his normal snaps or anything like that, but we'll see what they say. But Dawson Knox is still playing a decent amount. He's 2,600, Tony. He's the tight end, I think, down here. And we talked about the Miami tight ends, but like he's the tight end down here that I actually want a little sliver of is Dawson Knox at 2,600. I think he still can, get a touchdown, maybe get 2 or 3 catches for 25 to 35 yards and somehow be on the winner or something like that. So HM was active last year, week 2, and had 1. Yeah, I think I said that. I remember him standing on the sidelines, and it was driving me nuts.
We all kind of agree on that. The scary part of Miami, though, we can have these takes, and I think we're on the same page. I do think we agree, and Redmond's kind of – the scary part is, though, Achane and freaking Tyreek, it takes literally one play, and they are gone.
So, I'll tell you right now, you got to have big fucking balls to fade those guys in anything. And
good thing I got those big balls, baby.
I'm gonna try and fade Achane, even in the I want to fade him. I like that's gonna be what I try and do here. So I'm not fading Tyreek like you. I'm definitely not fading Tyreek like you, though. I can't do that. Yeah. Speed kills. I do agree with that. So Jeff Wilson is made out of twigs, though, as well. Yeah, well, Jeff Wilson's old as shit. But again, like I said, it wouldn't shock me if they were like, hey, listen, these guys are old. One guy goes down. We're saving the other guys. Jeff Wilson's going to play. They're all going to have their games. Like even Jalen Wright this year, he will at some point get his shot to have a game where he gets the rock, I think, Tony. Like just like Achane did, and Achane took full advantage when he got that chance and just went to the moon. Like Jalen Wright will at some point get that chance. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know which game it'll be, but he will get that chance at some point this year because all these running backs, they're always hurt or they're old as shit. Like they're going to break down at some point. So he's going to get a shot. It's just, will it be this week or next week? I don't really know. So under 1,000, Tony, is there anyone that you could see? I know we talked about some of the guys, but I don't really see much.
I mean, I'm definitely not playing the bottom 2. Will I play a tiny sliver of Smythe and Julian Hill? I mean, maybe just like literally a sliver in my 150. I don't like either. I just, you know how I am. I hate coming on this show and being like, I'm not going to play these guys. Because then when I build my 150, maybe they hit on literally one team or something. And then when they score, everyone's like, you said not to play them, blah, blah. But I don't like them. I'm going to have a very small amount, if any. And it's only going to be because SaberSim gives it to me. They're not going to be on any handbills. They're not going to be on any of my main teams. But if I play 150 and SaberSim gives me 3% Smythe, I'm okay with that. Like I'll live with that because he's going to have some opportunities.
And the good thing too, you say it, but then you put it in your content too. So if guys aren't a member, RPS 15, you kind of see the sheet, but like Big T will put his range of percentages on every player. So you'll know around, not the exact number, but you'll know around how much he's going to have of every guy he's playing. So like, there's never going to be a situation where it's like Big T's like, oh, I hate this guy, and then he's got like 50%. You know, you're going to see it in the content. I take so much pride
in it that we've done this for over 4 years now. And I truly believe it's never happened. I don't think it's happened. And that's hard to say because it's every day of the week. I do a lot of the content with it. I'm surprised it's never happened. I don't think it has, though. Maybe it has, but I don't think it has.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about you is you pretty much do it off of your run. So once you finish your runs, you're like putting that updated, percentages in there. So RPS 15% off your first monthly or weekly payment over at Run Pure Sports. Get in, join up, use that promo code RPS 15. You can use it for monthly or weekly memberships. It's up to you. If you just want to check it out for a week, you can check it out for a week. If you just want one sport, you can get one sport. You can get NFL. You can get MLB still going on, NBA, PGA, whatever you want. We got it. If it's a sport on DraftKings, we pretty much have content for it. Even apparently they do something called WNBA, Tony. I don't really know what that is, but we have it apparently. There's a chat and there's content for it. So we got you covered no matter what. So not me and Tony specifically, like somebody has you covered in these other sports. It's not always going to be me or Tony, but just want to make that clear. And hit the like button too on the video. If you enjoy the video, you like this free content, you want more of it, hit that thumbs up on the video. We do appreciate that. All right. Since I agree with you on these cheap shitters, I'm probably not going to play any of those under 1,000 guys. So let's go to our plays of the day here, Tony. And we got a lot to live up to, especially you, because you had the big call on Allen Lazard. I don't know if you're going to have – I don't know if you can have a better call than a plus 650 anytime touchdown and stuff like that. But you got to try at least, right? That's the goal here.
I mean, the odds definitely aren't going to be that good because I don't even think that shows you how crazy the Lazard bet was. There's not even like – I mean, the guys in that range are like Julian Hill tonight. That shows you how crazy the 650 was last. I mean, it was a bad line. Let's face it. It should have never been 650 anytime. And it was 90-1 to score 2 touchdowns.
I honestly think, Tony, no one really knew what the Jets were going to do at receiver outside of Garrett Wilson. And me and you could say it because we were on Allen Lazard, but I don't think the masses knew what was going to happen. Mike Williams barely played. Xavier Gibson wasn't, really that involved. And, so it was just Allen Lazard, but yeah, we got that. It was just mispriced, but all right. I got someone. I'll start us off here.
We didn't talk about Unk going live. I mean, I sat there and laughed for 45 straight minutes earlier.
We were too pumped about Tony's call to even remember to come in the intro with
we should have introed Unk's video coming into our show.
The problem was we should outro to Unk's video, but the problem was that you had your touchdown video, so we had to intro to that. Because honestly, when I was thinking about it earlier today, I was like, we should talk about Unk right from the get-go of the intro. But no, seriously, that dude, with everything that happened, he handled that thing the best you could handle something like that happen to you. That was to a T perfect how he handled it.
He did it on purpose.
But he didn't lie after. He didn't say someone took over my account. He just, it happened.
Somehow you're watching this and you haven't seen what we're talking about. Just run a search on Twitter. Unk or Shannon Sharp or whatever you want. It's guaranteed to make you laugh.
I'm not gonna lie. When Tony called me, I thought that it was I thought it was fake the first time. When I was like, what are you talking about? This shit ain't real. And then I just saw everyone on Twitter talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, it actually is real. What's going on right now? So yeah, I mean, props to Unk. I mean, that dude, he gets it done, Tony. That's what I got from it. He gets the job done.
He was out there working up a sweat, that's for sure. And then
true workbench warrior.
Ocho said it was only a minute and a half live. What was going on? He said, this isn't no YouTube short. He told him.
He said he was on for 20. He said he was going for 25 minutes or something like that. He was going strong for 25 minutes. That's what he said.
He wasn't going that hard for 25 minutes. That video, he was getting after it.
I mean, he was breathing really heavy towards the end of that video. So, who knows? Who knows what he was doing? He might have had some help. You never know. He might have
popped something
to take some help.
He had a little assistance. You're right about that.
He could have definitely had some. I'm not throwing shame either.
Ocho said bungee jumping in there. That conversation was just too much.
No. Ocho and just need to do like daily shows. Forget about all the other shows. Forget about the stupid like first take show. Just get in there. They were both. Was he growling at her? Or were they both?
They were making all kinds of noises and sounds.
They were both growling. Hit the like if you like the growling. Go for it. Hit the like if you like growling. Yeah.
I could laugh about it for another hour when I just think about it. It was so funny.
I don't know if you saw Pat McAfee, but he was on his show today giving props. He was doing the little Pat McAfee clap and giving him props and stuff like that. It was great. Another guy.
I hope ESPN, don't do anything stupid. Don't no suspension, no anything. Like, don't do it. Stop.
I don't think they can do it.
But I'm just saying, don't do it.
And I guarantee you, Stephen A. Smith will fight for Unk too. So I don't think they will.
He didn't break nothing he did. Like, just leave him alone. It was funny. Everyone thought it was funny.
Even if he did it on purpose, who cares?
I mean, I do somewhat think he did it on purpose because everyone was saying things about him. But that's beside the point. Who cares?
He's a genius, is what he is.
He was. The chat's got me wrong. My man was growling at.
Oh, Michelle. What was he saying? Michelle? Was it Michelle?
Yeah. And I love Michelle Beadle went on Twitter and said it was not me.
It was not me. Yeah, I saw that too. It was not me. All the Michelles just should start coming out saying it was not me. Just all of them just coming out. Not me. Paul Pierce heated right now. About what?
Because he wants to be on. He's basically tried to. He wants to be the one in that video.
Yeah, you're too late, Paul. You missed your opportunity. Unk won. He won no matter what. All right.
Yeah, she's walking funny. They said she's got to ice down, and then Ocho was like, "What did you get the Epsom salt out for her?" I was dying.
The Epsom salt. I love that. Nothing like a little Epsom salt bath, Tony. Have you done a little Epsom salt bath before?
I don't know if I've ever got after it that much to need some Epsom salt.
Damn, you've never done an Epsom salt bath before?
Not after laying pipe. I don't get after it that hard.
Oh, not after laying pipe. I just mean like, I don't know, after like
I think I put my foot in it before when like I had a bad ankle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't mean laying pipe. I meant like, after
I'm not that much of a professional. I'm a normal. Jeez. I get after it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not needing no Epsom salt after I get in
listen, there. Unk, if he was going 25 minutes prior, he had some help. I'll tell you that. If that was the case, he had some.
Especially if those noises were coming the whole time. I mean, that's a long session.
They're making noises like that. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I'm making noises like that. It's near the conclusion. I'll tell you that much right now.
Dude, they were talking about that. Did you see that video where they were talking about the conclusion and Ocho's telling them like, nah, bro, just you got to think about random shit like football and other stuff when that happens. It'll help you last longer. Like,
I could literally laugh about it until kickoff tonight. I think it's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I know. You called me at 8 a.m. to laugh about it. Like,
I was dying laughing.
Literally called me at 8 a.m. to laugh about it. Oh, so
I could listen to him talk about it for the next 3 hours. One last thing too with the blow the whistle. One last thing too on the playbook that's pretty cool that Rubio does. Our boy Gregory Swinehart, Mr. Rubio, does the Showdown playbook, but he puts this stuff down here. I know people like this stuff, like what to avoid with the Bills, wide receivers out wide. So you know this stuff. Who's that bring? Who should we avoid? Who's that, JSU? Who's out wide? Keon Coleman?
Keon Coleman and Matt Collins are the two out wide, and then MVS will spell, for like a little bit. but those are the wide.
Sounded like a zoo. Oh God, that's funny. But target running back PPR merchants. So like Cook has to be one of those guys. Dolphin side RBs who can't catch. I mean, maybe is Jeff Wilson. I don't think Jeff Wilson's a big time PPR type guy, but Miami
he's not. But they'll throw him the football.
Yeah,
Tua's going to throw him the. Tua doesn't like to get hit, Tony. Tua doesn't like to get hit, bro. He's going to check that thing down. He does not want to get hit. That's the good thing about Miami.
I'm going to give you this dick. Yeah, he did say that. He said, "What are you going to say?" So the slot. The Rubio says target Dolphins in the slot. Who's that going to be? Is it Waddle?
Khalil Shakir ran 8. Oh, wait.
Dolphin side.
On the Dolphin side. Well, Jonnu Smith, when he was in, played.
Is he going to be the damn guy that catches us a touchdown after we made fun of him? Is he going to be the slot house call?
He played 71% of his snaps were him lined up in the. So for his passing snaps, which weren't many, but when he was in, played 71% of those in the slot. If you're looking for the slot guy for Miami, I guess the next highest guy after Jonnu would probably be, who is it here? Braxton Berrios, maybe? Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Braxton Berrios. Were lined up there. Durham Smythe was lined up in there 46% of the time. Waddle was lined up only 22%. So Waddle and Robbie Chosen were lined up the least of the wide receivers in the slot.
I always get terrified when we talk about these shitty dudes just because I always feel like we're speaking it into existence. And we've shit on Chosen so many times.
I will say this. I will say this, though. Brian Thomas, that either this dude is an absolute stud, but he destroyed them outside. He played very little in the slot.
Stud, though.
He played out wide, and he dusted Ramsey. Like, he dusted, and it was underthrown by Trevor, but he had him beat for a big touchdown, and he dusted him. And then he caught that other one in the back of the end zone, which was nice. Took a little longer to develop, but it was nice. So, but maybe he's just a stud, Tony. I don't know. Maybe Brian Thomas
definitely just a stud for sure. Yeah.
Is he way better than Keon? That's what I'm asking.
I think they're similar. I think they're similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think they're very similar, actually. Like very, very similar.
Yeah, but to your point though, it's just good notes. You can go in there if you only have let's just say you only have 5 or 10 minutes to build teams. You can just pull up the playbook. You can quickly look at it. You can figure out, okay, who is that? I got to avoid this. Boom. You can build a few lineups off the playbook. And then obviously you can pull up Big T's player pool sheet where he lists all of his captains and his exposures in the flex and everything like that. You can pull up the 3 max if you're someone who plays single entry or 3 max.
You got all this stuff on there. We showed it last time, but I want to show it all as you're talking about. So you got all the core plays, everyone, which nothing's up yet.
Yep.
The 3 max, the JS, you have all your stuff up. It doesn't matter, even if you do.
I got I got some write ups up there, but yeah. So
JSU, K-Fallic, and Mangone.
Yep, and you can kind of see there's a blurb, and then there's the core, which will fill out, and then you got same thing with K-Fallic and Mangone. So if you're only building 3 teams, this would be where you go. So we kind of got everyone covered. If you're a 150 maxer, or if you build MME, 20, 150, 100, whatever that is. And then if you only build 1 or 3 or, anything like that, we've got you covered. So past optimals is cool. You can kind of see, what's won in the past, right? Tony AP figured that, got that sheet up, which is nice. So.
Yep. And then, and then my player pool page too, but everything's covered in from the main slate, all the sports. Something, because I've talked to a few more people this week that they're like, we like the site, we just don't know all the stuff. There's just so much on it that I don't think people realize all the stuff. And a lot of this stuff too, tweeting a thing in there. A lot of this stuff too is quick viewing. Like if I only had 10 minutes before a slate, like most people might, all this stuff right here is quick viewing. Like obviously watching this video, we're already over an hour in. Everyone doesn't have time to do that kind of stuff, but all my stuff is going to be totally updated on this sheet, my percentage of captains. So if you get in 10 minutes before lock, all this stuff will be filled out. You'll know exactly where I'm at. You go to the 3 max, you'll know exactly where these 3 are. JSU, K Fallick, Mango, three top players, 3 all the different notes and stuff. Easily you can go through that. And then on the playbook, you also have the cash plays, which there'll be tags right here, rankings from 1 to 5, their top favorite, field if they're playing them, fade. You got notes down here. But tags for Cash, Rubio, Wiley, and JBC, who they're on. So you literally have everything you can need.
I love it. I love it. It's just it's simple when it's broken down. I think like this. I think it's good to kind of show people, give people like so they can see what everything's about and how to use it. It's a good tool though. We've got a bunch of different pieces of content depending on the player you are, because not everyone's the same type of player. And like Tony said, not everyone has an hour plus to watch these videos. So for those that don't, I think you can take some of these pieces of content, you can put them together and build lineups in a pretty quick manner if you need to, if that's, if you only have 10, 20 minutes to build teams and stuff like that. So, yep. All right, Tony, you want to give plays of the day and our favorite bets and stuff like that?
Yeah. Go ahead first if you want.
All right, I'll go first because you smashed last time, so I got to go first. First of all, my favorite bets, but I talked about passing props over for both quarterbacks. Josh Allen's like 243.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook like right now. Let me make sure that number's still there. Yeah, 243.5 minus 115 over. He only threw 23 attempts last game, and he threw for 235 yards, I think. Like right at that number, and he only threw 23 attempts. He's throwing more than 23 attempts. He's going over that number. I think he's hit over 300 in the past 4 times he's played Miami. And then Tua. So, Tony, I gave the Tua prop out. It was 263.5 or 263 or 264.5 was the lowest number. That's the first number I got it at. I bet it all throughout the board. It is now 270.5 on DraftKings minus 115. Get in there. It's just another reason. I dropped these props yesterday in the Bets channel. It's another reason to be a Run Pure Sports member. You get the stuff as soon as we post it. But RPS 15, again, the promo code 15% off. Those are my 2 favorite bets. And then first touchdown bet, I'm going to go with the long shot. I could give an earlier one. I'm going to go with the long shot. Dawson Knox, 35-1. It's not as good as the Allen Lazard, but I still like the odds at 35-1. I'm sorry, on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's plus 550 to catch an anytime touchdown, which I don't think is that bad either. So I'll go with Dawson Knox for my long shot touchdown of the day. And then my play of the day is going to be Jalen Waddle. He's going to be the guy I'm way over in the captain on from the field. So I think I'm going to be much higher than the field on Jalen Waddle in the captain. So I just got to go with him as my play of the day. Really like Waddle here in the spot. Really like the wide receivers for Miami here. So going to be way over on them. Tony, what is the workbench play of the day? You got big shoes to fill from last time.
So to start out, though, I want to talk about a few bets just because to set it up. But like I said, I love these weeks where I can tease a game. Buffalo, you can start any bet you like this weekend. I love when Thursday night when I love the game because it sets up your whole freaking week where you need it to be. I can take Buffalo tonight plus 8.5. That means these Wong teasers, you tease through the 3, through the 7. It's 2.5 right now. I can tease it up to 8.5 tonight. Buffalo plus 8.5. And I can put it with any freaking game I like and get 6 extra points on that game. So I like to do that a bunch. I'm going to put out my free teaser too here before kickoff. I need to see exactly what I want to do. But Buffalo will be in the teaser. So that's kind of my favorite bet of the night, even though it's a teaser, just because I can put it with anything I want. So that's my bet part. And then as far as the touchdowns and the play of the day, I'm going to give 2. First of all, I want to bet Josh Allen. This isn't my play of the day, obviously, but Josh Allen first TD. I want to have that
I thought you were going to say Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I was like, oh,
anyways.
That's a big call.
Bet that too, anytime at plus.
Yeah, it's a good bet.
Yeah, but yeah, I just want to bet these because he's going to score a rushing touchdown. Maybe it's the first drive, so I want that. So that's 2 bets right there. Josh Allen anytime touchdown plus 100, first touchdown plus 650. Plus 650 is not the Epsom salt play of the day. The plus 650 first touchdown, I think, is a great bet because if they get inside the like 5 or 10, he's going to run it in. So I love that price. But now my play of the day, I got to find something more exciting for the play of the day. As always, it's not as good as Lazard, same line that JSU gave, but Keon Coleman, you sold me on it. Kind of got beat up a little bit by another rookie. Another talented rookie, similar matchup. I think Keon Coleman got a little unlucky last week with just he didn't get as much usage as I think he'd get. And the price is right. Plus 1,500, 15-1 odds, first touchdown, and plus 245 anytime touchdown. And you know what? I'm going to go back to the well just because Lazard was 90-1, 22-1, 2 touchdowns. So that's 5 touchdown bets, which is whatever, however you want to do it. 20% of a unit for each 5. I'm just going to do 1 unit on all 5 of them and take my chances because I like them. But play of the day, Keon Coleman, all the touchdown props for him. Let's make it 3 in a row here with these touchdowns.
I already beat.
I'm going to put that on the content too. I think we need to add that. Like at the top of my sheet, especially for Showdown, because everyone likes us for Showdown. I don't know, maybe on the core plays we put like 1 more column for first touchdowns. Somehow or another, I'm going to add this to the content because I know everyone likes it.
First touchdown and anytime touchdown bets or something like that.
Just super simple. Only one.
Because I already bet the Keon. I already bet the Keon one. I love the Keon Coleman one. Because even if Keon, let's just say Keon doesn't like smash in DFS, I still think it's a good touchdown bet because whenever they get down there, he's going to be on the field. Like, even if it's 1 wide receiver, it's going to be him. If there's 2, it's definitely going to be him. And so it's either Josh Allen running or I know Matt Collins got the one last week, but like it's going to be Keon out there with Josh Allen either running or probably throwing it to him. And Josh Allen said, I think it was post game, he said that one of his running touchdowns, he could have thrown it to Keon and decided to tuck it and run. He said, though, I should have thrown it to Keon. I think if that happens again, Tony, he won't make that mistake. If he thinks Keon's open, I think he's going to let it go.
Yep. I mean, I like it. I feel great about tonight's game. I feel like we're going to win a lot of money tonight.
I love it. All right, guys, get over to Run Pure Sports, RPS15 promo code. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed it. Print Factory coming to tomorrow for the main slate. We're talking betting on the Print Factory mainly. It'll be me, Big T, ODB. We'll kind of talk through what happened last week, and then we'll bring it to this week and talk about all the Sunday football games and the bets that we like there and the leans on those games. So if you guys like that, be back here tomorrow, Friday, 3:30 Eastern time.
The Showdown Kings tonight too, right? At 6:30.
Showdown Kings tonight, 6:30 Eastern time. That'll be Wiley and JBC taking you guys not up to lock, but close to lock there. So yeah, you can check that out. This YouTube channel here, Run Pure Sports. So stay tuned for those guys. For Big T and myself, JSU. Let's get another first touchdown or anytime touchdown bet winner here.
Let's go, Unc.
You guys, runs pure. Let's go, Unc.